Nobody's talking about it, but the Minnesota Timberwolves are planning something big. Not just to run it back and hope for the best kind of moveno. This feels different. This feels like the calm before a storm after getting exposed. By OKC in the conference finals, the Wolves front office isn't sitting back. They're pissed. They know Anthony Edwards is a superstar in the making, and wasting his prime isn't an option. The whispers around the league. Something major is brewing in Minnesota, and it could change everything. The calm before the shakeup. Let's be real. The Timberwolves shocked the NBA this year. Nobody had them going this far, especially not after trading away Karl Anthony Towns. But the bet paid off. They looked deep, gritty, and ready to finally make that leap. Ant proved he's the real deal. Jaden McDaniels turned into one of the best two-way wings in the league, and Rudy Gobert finally looked worth part of that wild trade package. But then reality hit. They ran into a buzzsaw in the Oklahoma City Thunder. And just like that, the dream was over. Here's what makes it worse. OKC isn't just good. They're younger, hungrier, and stacked with assets. The Wolves weren't. Just beaten. They were outclassed. Game after game, it felt like Minnesota hit a wall. No second scorer consistently showing up. No steady ball handler when the pressure hit. And for the second year in a row, they straight up quit in an elimination game. That's not just bad, it's embarrassing. So now what? This is where things get interesting. Tim Connelly, the man behind the Nuggets championship roster, is running the show in Minnesota. And if there's one thing we've learned about him, it's that he's not afraid to make bold moves. Remember, this guy traded everything for Rudy Gobert. Then he turned around and shipped out Karl Anthony Towns, the face of the franchise, for almost a decade. He's not scared. In fact, the only name truly off limits right now is Anthony Edwards. Everyone else, fair game. That's why there's this strange quiet around the Wolves right now. No leaks, no drama, no chaos, just silence. And in the NBA, that's scary because when teams go quiet, that's usually when the fireworks start. So let's talk about what we do know. Number one, the Wolves are under the second apron for now. That's big because it means they can actually make trades without getting slammed by the new CBA penalties. But that window is narrow. Julius Randle and Naz Reid both have player options, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker is likely gone. That frees up some room, but not much. If Minnesota wants to make a serious move, it has to be soon, and it has to be smart. The biggest need? A true number two next to Ant Randall tried. He had moments, but he's too inconsistent. In the OKC series, he disappeared when it mattered. And when defenses clamped down on Ant, nobody stepped up. That can't happen again. Minnesota needs a guy who can drop 20 a night, create his own shot, and take pressure off their star. Someone who thrives in big moments, not shrinks. There's also a serious need at point guard. Mike Conley's been solid, a calming veteran presence, but he's 37. You can't expect him to carry the load much longer. And outside of him, who's running the offense? Rob Dillingham might be exciting, but he's raw years away from being playoff ready. The Wolves need a floor general now, someone who can break a press, make plays, and set up Ant to kill. And don't forget the most underrated hole, mental toughness. Twice now, Minnesota has folded when it counted most. Game 5 against OKC, down. 30 and gave up. Same story last year against Dallas. That's not bad luck. That's a culture problem. That's what separates contenders from champions. You can't fix that with role players. You fix it with killers. Guys who've been there, guys who refuse to lose. That's why every sign points to something big, something unexpected. KD, that. Dream's dead unless Phoenix gives him away for free, and they won't. They could go after someone like Darius Garland, but that costs assets they don't have. Unless they're willing to sacrifice a name people don't expect. Maybe McDaniels. Maybe Randall in a sign and trade. Maybe even a package involving future swaps and a desperate third team. The point is, nobody's safe right now. Derek White, he's a sleeper name. Boston needs to cut salary. White fits perfectly, high IQ, can shoot, defend, pass. Exactly what Ant needs. And he won gold with Edwards in Paris. Chemistry is already there. But again, not cheap. This offseason isn't about tweaking around the edges. This is Minnesota's moment. Ant is locked in, the West is open, and the Wolves know they're one or two right moves away from being back here next year. But this time is favorites, not underdogs. So yeah, it's quiet right now. But make no mistake, the Timberwolves are planning something big. You just might not see it coming until it hits the league like a thunderclap.